Hey everyone, welcome back to SnowRunner. This is episode number 4 of, well, 4 so far. We still have quite a lot left to do here in Michigan, so I think this series is going to be going for a while. Definitely not rushing around here, I'm just doing things at my own pace. Last week we basically set ourselves up to do a bunch of small quests, and today we're going to be going ahead and doing them, hopefully. If all things go right, then it'll be small stuff, sort of like this, where it's just like a single delivery, something like that. Yeah, should be fun. Today's topic of the day is electric cars, a very big topic in the media these days. If you read any car media or watch any car media, pretty much everybody's talking about electric vehicles, and I think there's some stuff that we can kind of get out of that, and also some things we should be weary of as consumers, as customers, and as people who probably don't have millions of dollars hanging around in the bank that we can blow on expensive and fleeting technology. But anyway, let's talk about that. It's coming up soon. Before we get too far, I just wanted to say this channel is supported by viewers like you, so if you're interested in supporting me, check out my Patreon, check out my YouTube supporter stuff, and yeah, thank you to everybody who's done so already. Alright, time for an actual productive video. Let's do it. I admit that last week I was a little bit all over the place with my topic, and I'm trying to avoid that, so keep me on track this week. Let's keep things a little bit less all over the place. So we kind of opened up this area last time. We do have a few things that need to be done. The stuck trailer thing is very interesting, and I do want to try that. It's all the way over here, but we probably need to get rid of this rock slide stuff first. So let's go ahead and just do that. I think it's fairly straightforward. Yeah, so we just need metal beams and surface spare parts. Let's track that. And okay, we can get pretty much all of it in the town, but we're gonna need to go get an actual vehicle that can pull a trailer, so let's go grab one of those. We're bringing out the Fleet Star, or actually, International Fleet Star, I think that's what this thing is. Either way, we got a flatbed. I think this is going to be all the storage that we need in order to get this done. So yeah, let's talk electric cars. I'm basically just going to be able to give you my opinion, but I feel like electric cars and sort of the advancements of car technology in general are just a really good topic these days because it generates a lot of discussion. Everybody has their own opinion on it, including me, obviously. Otherwise, this video wouldn't make any sense. But my thesis essentially is that and this is kind of what I've been saying for a while now, is that electric cars are the future, but hybrids and plug-in hybrids are kind of the now. That's what I would say is true at the moment. And now, before people get too up in arms saying I'm anti-progressive or something like that, like I do see that gas vehicles and diesel and other fuels are on their way out. Eventually, battery technology is going to be good enough that we can run things purely electric, but I really don't think we're there yet, and I don't think we're going to be there for a number of years. It's still a ways off before we get it full consumer level, I think. And for the people who are buying full electric vehicles now, it's almost like buying into a technology early. It's like buying a 3D TV. That's honestly the best comparison I can come up with. For those of you who may remember 3D TVs, there was a bit of a trend maybe 10 years ago, a little bit less than 10 years ago, where everybody was buying these 3D TVs. You had to wear glasses a lot of the time with them. And now you just don't see them anymore, although I'm not exactly a TV connoisseur. 4K is kind of taken over, but it used to be 3D everything. Those TVs were extremely expensive. They had a pretty significant premium because you also had to buy glasses for them and stuff. So they used to have bundle deals where you get enough glasses for the family and all that. But it's a gimmick. It was a gimmick. And I guess I don't know the exact reasoning of it, but that's around the time that theaters started to go 3D as well. Stuff like Avatar, the first one, sort of brought that out. And then everybody had to have a 3D TV in their house too. And I feel like that's kind of how it is. Oh wow, the steering in this game is interesting. But that's kind of how it is with electric cars as well. It's like you're buying into this technology. Everybody's saying that it's the future. This is the next thing. This is what everybody should have as a default now, 3D stuff, whatever it is. And then maybe it doesn't live up to the hype, at least not immediately. I don't know. It's something that I've been thinking about more and more recently. I was thinking about SnowRunner as well in this regard, because think about these types of vehicles, like heavy-duty trucks like this. I can't even imagine them running on anything other than fuels like diesel, or some of these things in the military are primed to run on like aviation level fuels and things like that. Although diesel engines are good to pretty much run on anything, especially all mechanical diesel engines. You can run them on cooking oil. Like, that's crazy, right? Waste oil is enough to run those things. But batteries, I don't know, man. They're gonna have to be huge batteries until we get tech that can actually do with the stuff that we need them to do. Would you look at that? Is that the stuff that we need right there? I think that's spare parts, but it's not metal beams, so let me get that here. Metal beams loaded up. Let's go over to this spot, and I guess we may as well bring this trailer too. We're gonna take two birds with one stone here. Sorry about your fence, random store. It's not like you needed it anyways, let's be real. This is an honest town. But yeah, battery technology is just not capable for these types of vehicles yet. Like, we do see sort of hybrid versions of these cars, and again, I think that's really where it's at for efficiency's sake. But hybrid heavy vehicles tend to be electric drivetrains with generators. Stuff like huge excavators and things like that already run that way. A lot of construction equipment already runs that way, and it runs well. Like, it's technology that's been used for years and years. And I genuinely think that that's just the best way to go at the moment, even for vehicles like this. Like, you gotta have some alternative fuel source. You can't rely exclusively on batteries for these trucks. For the average consumer car, it's a little bit different because people tend to buy cars. Like, the car is the second most expensive thing that most people own, right? It's a very expensive purchase. It's usually house, then car, and cars these days are definitely like $50,000-$60,000 if you want a decent one, brand new at least. It's a lot of money to put down on something that could potentially not be as useful as you want, so people tend to buy cars for the extreme use case. By the way, let's just get this thing knocked out right here. Metal beams, spare parts, and hey, we have a new place that we could potentially go. While we're here, we're going to go grab this curtain side trailer down here, and we're going to drop it off at the motel, which is on the way back anyways, so why not? May as well. I'm going to take this trailer over to the trailer store, and we're going to sell it because money. I think the people who might be making the decisions on electric vehicles being, like, legislated might be those who live in very dense cities and they don't actually need cars to get anywhere, because where I live, it's sort of out of the big cities, a little bit more in the country area, although I do live in a city. But we're surrounded by highways. That's the only way to get anywhere. And the small-time electric cars with short range, it just don't cut it. Like, I could definitely manage, but it would be a pain in the butt to have to charge, like, anytime I want to go any distance. It's not something I'm very keen on. And so people buy things for convenience, me included. I definitely understand. Whereas the most ideal electric vehicles are the ones that are very short-ranged. Those are the ones that tend to be the most efficient and also cost-effective, because the more batteries you add, the more range you get, but then the more expensive you get. And at this point, we just don't have, like, cheap electric vehicles at all, which is kind of my next discussion. Really, like, if you're not made out of money, how the heck do you afford some of these cars? Like, I know that there are government rebates and stuff like that, but I cannot find anything at MSRP at the moment. It's absolutely insane right now. Alright, let's sell this trailer, because hopefully we can sell it, please. Gone. Okay, a bit more money in the bank, and we're off to go pick up the other one. I just think it would be a bit of a hardship for the average family to be able to buy one of these cars. It just doesn't make a lot of sense when the technology is so, like, oh, when the technology is so hit the wrong release button. But the technology is still in its infancy, and electric cars don't seem to last as long as gas ones do. So, especially with battery replacements being as pricey as they are, and companies discontinuing them as well, we're just not in a good spot to be able to for the long term buy one of these vehicles. Like, for example, my family, we tend to keep cars until they don't drive anymore. That's just how my family's done things. Buy used and then drive it into the dirt, send it to the junkyard, and buy something else used. We're definitely not a new car family. I just think that the dirt is going to come a lot sooner with an electric vehicle. when the battery goes and it's $10,000 to fix, it's like, ugh, I don't know if it's worth it anymore. And that's something that I think a lot of people might face in the future. Okay, let's strap this trailer on, and we're good. How the heck do I get out of here? So let's talk about the alternatives, because again, my thesis was very much in favor of plug-in hybrids and hybrids. And obviously I'm a little bit biased towards that. My wife has a hybrid RAV4, and it's been an extremely good car for us. It's got, I think it's like 40,000 on it, something like that. Not a lot of kilometers, but they've been easy kilometers, and it's had pretty much no issues at all, except for in the winter, the 12 volt battery died a little bit, because I mean, I live in Canada, it's absolutely frigid here in the winter. And when the 12 volt battery is low, it will not start the hybrid system, so I had to boost it. But that's literally the only problem I've had with the car. Everything else has been good. I guess weather is a whole other consideration. If you live in California or you live in a very warm climate, it's not going to be that big a deal to have battery stuff. But here, like when it gets really cold and your car sits outside, again, you have to be fairly wealthy to afford a house that has a garage big enough to put a car in. Especially an SUV, then your car's probably sitting outside in the cold all night, -30, sometimes -40. Depending on where you live, it can be even colder than that. That's Celsius. Your battery is not going to be doing too good. Obviously, you'd have to leave it plugged in all night so it could stay conditioned. But again, that's just, I don't know, it's just another thing. But yeah, I do think that hybrids and plug-in hybrids are the best solution right now. The biggest reason I think that is battery tech. Like, honestly, that's my biggest gripe against electric cars, is really just battery related, and I guess charging as well, but we can talk about that too. But for the average electric car, you can make like 7 or 8 hybrids, and then a couple less plug-in hybrids because they tend to have bigger batteries. And I really feel like that's a better use of resources than just making these cars with much longer electric ranges, rather than having an extender like a plug-in hybrid. Truly, I think plug-in hybrids are really the best option for most applications. Because if you think about it in a practical sense, it's like, okay, for your average shopping trip on a plug-in hybrid, say it has like a 50-kilometer range, which doesn't seem too unreasonable, you can go to like Walmart and back fully electric, plug your car in when you get home, and then you're basically set. Like that, you acted as if you were an electric vehicle. But then when you need to go see grandma, she lives 300 or 400 kilometers away, then you can just drive there like you would with a regular car. Honestly, I think it's the best of both worlds. Now, the detractors to plug-in specific actually, is that you're carrying around a gas engine in a glorified electric car, but I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. Like, I think the perks outweigh the cons in that scenario. One of the biggest issues with just like electrically inclined vehicles in general is that they're really hard to find a good one these days. Like, I don't know about the area that you would live in, but for me, living in Ontario, the shortages have hit here like really hard. The Toyota dealership in my area has not had any new cars for like 3 years. Like, they get new vehicles, they sell instantly over MSRP, and then the lot is empty. Like, that's literally how it's been. So if you want a Prius Prime or you want a RAV4 Prime, which are the best plug-in hybrids that I can think of at the moment, good luck. You're gonna have to like go through a specialty broker to try and find one, because I don't think you're getting one straight from the dealer. But if you want a Tesla, you can order one from Tesla. If you want an electric alternative car from any other dealership, you're going to be paying above MSRP, just because they have not a lot of stock and they're extremely expensive already, and you have to be rich to buy one. So I guess the rich can afford to pay a little bit extra. I think media has kind of gotten a little bit stuck on the idea of electric cars being the future, and they seem to be pushing that really hard. I see it a lot in like government policies and stuff, that it's like banning the sale of gas cars by 2035 and things like that. I just don't see that as being realistic, especially from a resource perspective. We already have shortages now, and I just don't think that it's going to recover in time to actually get to that point in the future. If they want to ban pure gas cars by that point, then sure, but all gas cars, even hybrids and plug-ins, I don't know about that. When it comes to pickup trucks, I mean, I have a pickup truck. I'm a little bit biased. My truck is a 5.7 liter V8 Ram with like 400 horsepower, which is ridiculous and probably too much for what I do with it. Actually, it's definitely too much for what I do with it, but it is a fun number to quote. uh, I would absolutely trade it for a plug-in hybrid variant. I would really love for that to happen. Like when I was looking for a vehicle, I was looking at F-150 hybrids, but they're like 90 grand and I paid 30 for my truck. Like it's 3 times the price. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna take a long time before actually making up that difference in price in the fuel cost alone. It just it doesn't make any sense financially. It's cool, but it does not make any financial sense. Plug-in hybrids are really the best option for trucks as well. I don't know why we don't see more of them. Maybe it's just down to the complications of things, but I'm actually really looking forward to see what Ram has in store with their range extender in the new electric one that they have. Like, I'm almost definitely not going to buy one of their electric Rams because it's going to be 200 grand or something like that. But with the range extender, it's going to be very interesting to see if that actually catches on. I'm hopeful that it does because I'm maybe going to buy one in the future if they're cheap enough. I don't think they ever will be, but a man can dream. By the way, big money out of that, 1,800 bucks. Honestly, the money in this game is not significant on these small jobs, but we're getting paid for some honest work, and I'm definitely down with that. Let's try this stuck trailer job. This might be an interesting one. It actually might be an extremely difficult one, so let's give it a go. Off-road truck recommended. Screw that, I'm doing it myself. But we do need to kind of find an off-road truck at some point. There is a Scout here, so we'll try to grab that. But yeah, I might have to jump to a different map in order to get more vehicles. Because at this point, I think we've got everything on this map except for the Scout. Correct me if I'm wrong. But for pickup trucks, plug-in just kind of seems like the best option. Hybrid and electric vehicles just don't have good towing. They lose a ton of range when they're towing, which is to be expected, I guess. But when you factor in the plug-in option or a range extender option like that Ram, it just means that you get the best of both worlds. Again, I can go to Walmart with the electric range that you have, and you can do your around town business all electric ideally. But then when you need to pull a trailer, you fire up that range extender, that gas engine, and go the distance. And that's really what I think is the best option, is the compromise. I know compromising isn't fun a lot of the time, and I'm very guilty of this as well. I want the best of the best, and I want the biggest batteries or whatever the thing happens to be. I find it very hard sometimes to settle for less specs, which is how my PC builds always go out of control, and I end up spending 5 grand because I'm like, oh, but if I just spend a little bit more, I could get this. But then it's like, oh no, if I spend a little bit more and I get this, then I may as well get this. And then by the time I'm done, I've emptied my bank account. But that's how it is with vehicles as well, min-maxing like crazy. So we're kind of going to war in the car industry about who has the biggest battery, who's got the longest range, and at the end of the day, it's like, does anybody actually care about that? Like, I just want a vehicle that actually works and works long term. That's really my goal. By the way, I see that stuck trailer. It is deep down there. This is going to be a tough task. Oh wow, it is deep in there. Okay. This might be the rest of the video, but we gotta get that thing out. So yeah, as I always do, I'm very interested to hear what everybody else thinks about this. I think quite clearly this is very much just my opinion on things. I try to make that clear. Obviously, this is an opinion piece. It's not an objective discussion by any means. We can pull up some notes and things and have an objective discussion, though. I'd be very interested in that too. I just think, like, I don't know. I think a lot about this stuff. I usually think about it as I'm driving, and I kind of look out at the demographic of vehicles in my area, and I'm like, is this, like, can I picture all electric cars driving this highway in the future? And most often in the case, I don't think that I will, but who knows? We'll see. We'll have to see what happens. Battery tech could just explode one day. I don't mean that literally, unless it's lithium. But things could just improve, and who knows what happens then. Oh boy. Okay, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to go in backwards and just see what happens. And apparently that was an absolutely awful idea. But what I want to try to do here is very similar to what I did last time. Um, and I'm just going to winch myself through this. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm very interested to hear what your opinion is. If you got an opinion on this stuff, hit me up in the comments, and yeah, I'll try to reply to some people. I always like reading these things. I do honestly read pretty much everybody's opinion on this stuff, so yeah, don't worry, you're being heard. Okay, let's talk about the game for a bit, because I've been talking for like 30 minutes about this, at least in real life. So basically what we're going to attempt to do here is hook this to this, and now we have that. The quest is activated, so we don't have to worry about other things. All I gotta do is drive, hopefully. Straight on a little bit and pull the trailer. It's not actually budging, is it? It's not moving. That's not a good sign. We do have one winch point right here, but there are no trees up this slope. Literally, as soon as we get out of the bog, though, we're good. Like, this is the main issue. SnowRunner is a game of patience, and so, as we're still moving forward, I will be patient. Okay, that's enough patience. Basically, one of the issues I'm having here is there's no weight on the back of the truck. We're not getting enough grip. This is a trailer that is, well, it's not contributing to the mass of the vehicle the way that I want it to. So I'm going to use my weight to pull it forwards, and then we're just going to do this over and over again until it's out. Sound good? Oh, come on. So close. Okay, we'll release the winch, we'll move ourselves forward, and then literally just do that again. Hopefully a little bit less on the rocks here. Honestly, I am so darn close. As soon as I get this truck out of this muck, we are absolutely set here. I think I'm almost close enough to be able to do this. So darn close to the shore, come on. Game is absolutely beautiful, by the way. I don't know how else to describe it. Just like, whew. Yeah, no, nature. It's all over me, get it off. Okay, I'm free, and hopefully still free enough. Yes, yes. Yes. Okay, we got this. Easy peasy and lemon squeezy. I think it's actually going a lot better than I thought this would. Overall, trailer pull, off-road truck required? Nah, come on now. Game, you just underestimate me. That is an extremely strong parking brake on this truck. Wow. I'm glad that we have something that locks the wheels this well. I'm going to attempt to hook up the trailer. Should be able to do so fairly easily here. Just back it on in. Attach it up. And low range. Oh yeah, no, easy, come on. Okay, up the hill, and I think we're golden. I think that SnowRunner, in a weird way, has kind of made me a lot more interested in these sort of industrial vehicles. I just find their simplicity to be really interesting, and I mean, if you pop the hood on one of these, it's probably not that simple. Like, there's a lot of wires and, well, maybe not wires on something this old, but a lot of tubes and things everywhere. Diesel engines are foreign to me. That being said, I just think they're extremely cool. I need an excuse to buy one. That's why I'm thinking, like, big farm property. Oh no, I need a heavy truck. Oh no, I found this old one on Kijiji out of nowhere. How could this happen? Don't tell my wife. I have enough projects. Let's be real honest. I have too many things on the go at the moment. I still haven't even finished my like sim rig stuff that I need to be working on. Ugh, I'm behind. Alright, I think we're home free. As long as I don't get caught up in the road, then we're gonna make it no problem. That actually went extremely well. I'm surprised at how easy that was. Even with a truck like this, it's not the ideal for this type of situation, and we definitely need something with a little bit more weight on the back to help get traction, but yeah, easy. Not a problem. I'm surprised, honestly, at what I've been able to do in this game with vehicles that are really not made for the application that I'm using them for. Stuff like pulling out big rigs, stuff like the highway truck that we pulled out. That was not last episode, I don't think. Maybe the episode before that. but I was using a vehicle that was very inappropriate for that, using the CK 1500. Definitely not a rescue operator, but yeah, real life, I wouldn't suggest that. It was fun though, it worked. Something I've been thinking about regarding electric vehicles is, back on previous topic, I guess, is I find this future to be interesting because my daughter she's only a month old, but when she turns 16 and she's able to drive, I'm thinking like, what kind of car am I going to have at that point? And what's going to be the big thing at that point? Is it going to be all electric stuff? Is she ever going to drive a gas car? Are we actually going to meet that 2035 deadline thing that was set up? Although I don't know what it is in Canada. I think that might be EU with 35. She'll definitely still experience gas cars at 16. And obviously I'm still going to have vehicles around the house because I tend to like things like that. But in 16 years, are things going to change enough that it actually matters? I'm extremely curious and very much wondering about that. For her sake and also for mine, obviously I'll still, hopefully I'll still be alive then. I shouldn't say obviously, who knows what can happen at any time, but hopefully I'll still be alive for that, and hopefully I'll be able to figure that out with her. First car, first public transit instead of car, who knows? We'll see what happens. Oh, come on, the day's almost done. It's almost... I don't want to reset the clock. We're so darn close. Let's go slow. Let's try and be patient. This is a game of patience. Patience is a virtue, and one that I tend to be pretty good with. I have had a lot of opportunities to learn to be patient in my life, and therefore I would say that I am a patient person most of the time. It depends on what is happening. This game, I don't know, sometimes it tests my patience. I like to be as efficient as possible, and it's hard to do sometimes in this game. That being said, we did actually manage to do this with a decent amount of gas still left in the tank, or diesel in this case, and I'm pleased to say that I think... Is this the one, or is the other one the one? Drive to the trailer park? Yeah, no, it's literally just got to be dropped off here. Please, 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 please work. I don't want to have to go back. Okay, we're good. Another 1,600 bucks. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. So that's it for the discussion this week. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and leave a like if you liked it and you're interested in more discussion about stuff. Next week, I don't know what to talk about, so obviously give me some things if you want to have a discussion. I do want to get some of the other guys involved. I keep saying that, and then I don't have any, like, time to actually record something with other people. As an example, this video is extremely late. Also, the game, oof. Okay, good thing that's happening towards the end, because that was a big old freeze there. I'm hearing some baby stuff, boys. I gotta go. But I'll see you again soon. Thank you for watching. Check out my Patreon and my YouTube support stuff if you want to support the channel, or just watch the video and like and comment and stuff, and that's good enough for me. Thanks. Thanks for that. Let's keep this YouTube channel alive. Yeah, this is my escape from everything. Until then, boys, I'm going to be cruising the strip in my big old diesel. See you again soon. Yeah, okay, let's do a little damage while you're here. Come on. Who needs road signs and poles? Okay, they make some strong poles in this region. What the actual heck? This ain't GTA.